Hi, everyone, and welcome to Blessend Crochet. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to crochet this beautiful sweater perfect for beginners. This design is cozy, stylish, and super easy to make. If you're new to crochet or looking for a simple project with a stunning result, this tutorial is just what you need. I'll guide you step by step, covering the materials, shaping, and tips for achieving the best finish. So, grab your yarn, and let's get started on this lovely sweater together. For this project, I will use this type of material. This material is sold in bulk, is more or less 2 millimeters, is Alaska approximately 2 to 3 millimeters. This one is a little thicker, it's like number 4. In this case, it is this type of material that I am going to use. On this occasion, has 200 g. Recommend a 6 millimeters crochet. Does not say how thick it is, but we are told that it has 312 m 341 yards. For this I am going to use a 6.5 mm crochet. Or 6.50 a pair of scissors. A skirt for wool or yarn and our tape measure. As this material is thicker, I'm going to use a double wool. And remember friends, that you can use at home. Material near home. And most importantly, that fits your nurse's needs. I'm going to start by securing my first stitch. And I make 3 chain stitches. In this first chain stitch I have here, I'm going to pass by and I'm going to knit him a double crochet. There. Now we are going to weave DOS chain stitches. And I'm going to pass here from side to side. And I make a double crochet. DOS chain stitches. Passing from side to side. And knit a double crochet. DOS chain stitches. Passing from side to side. Here you can see how a space that fits me. And you. Double crochet. And so. I will continue to weave until obtaining the hero of the head of the person to whom we are going to knit it. Okay, then I have one look at each of these spaces that is formed. It will look like this. And here we are going to occupy these spaces. For our start, okay, then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I will do approximately 20 to 24 spaces. Oh poof and back 2 chain stitches from side to side double crochet. I want to show you friends. And what I have ahead of me, then everyone. There at home you can do the following. I can measure it to the diameter depending also of the cleavage that you want to give her. This is garbage. I will only recommend certain measures. But you guys. Well, there at home they decided okay, then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 22, 23, and 24 spaces or motifs. Now we are going to do it this way. We are going to arrange. That fits us well, evenly matched. Friends, and in this part. So in this part we are going to do the following. Let's close with our slip stitch. I'm going to stop by on this side, my friends, and I will lose this little piece of material I have left. Let's slide our stitch to stay within the spaces. And I will knit 2 chain stitches. These 2 chain stitch, friends, are going to be our first double crochet. There inside the space I will pass. I lift and close with a chain stitch. And close this second chain stitch. I will pass there. I close and I close, yes, to make chain stitch, then I'm going to pass. I already have 3, the first one formed with chain stitches, and 2 that I have woven. I am going to move on to this next space. And at the same time, as I tell you, we can lose the little piece of wool. I lift up, I make a chain stitch, a second stitch chain. In this same space, I make a chain stitch and a second chain stitch. And in the same space, I make a chain stitch and a second chain stitch. Okay, so let's go weaving. I continue in the next space, friends. I lift up and close, yes. Look, we make like a chain stitch and then the second one. In the same space we make a chain stitch and the second one. Then this is how we are going to weave. And I'm going to do this. 3 in each space, 1, 2, and 3 of them are very easy, my friends. Very easy to complete my entire round. And look at this, is going to be a super fun project. Very easy to knit. That there at home we can weave it so much by the experts. As the beginners. So my friends, I invite them to have their crochet, select its materials, and then start weaving it. Once the round is over, friends, we will close here. And here in this part, my friends, I'm going to do the closure with a slip stitch. But here, before doing the slip stitch, I am going to do the color change here in this part, friends, yes. Now I am going to make him, in this case, a chain stitch with double wool. And then we can knit 2 and 3 chain stitches. Okay, here we fit this material. And it will not be useful for the time being. So I can withdraw it. Now what are we going to do? This material that I have here, I'm going to pass it on to my next stitch. I'll pass it on to my next stitch. Forward and then pass it on to the back. And pass through the center. Only 4. In this case, so that in this part it will no longer open. Yes, then I'm going to stop by here. This is going to be my first stitch. I'm going to move on to the next stitch and knit a double crochet. Let's leave it at that. Look, let's go back. Let's leave it in 2 chain stitch. What do you think? 2 chain stitches, and I'm going to do half double crochet. I move on to the one next and teju. Half double crochet, and I'm going back here to this stitch I have, which was the first one. There I am going to return to this space where I closed. And there I will raise 1 in the same space, 2 in the same space, 3. I close and secure here. And at the same time, we can lose these little pieces of material that we have left. I'm going to stop by here, friends, here. To the next space we will knit 3 stitches. 1 I pass on to the next one. Let's see, it's going to be half double crochet, right? Then I'm going to undo this one, look. So, and then in a single time I close 1. In one time 2. In a single time 3. And I'm going back to this first stitch to this one. I'm going to stop by and get up. I'm going to take the stitch well. So I lift the same space. 2 same space, 3 I close. And assure. So. And I move on to the next stitch. Then let's do half double crochet 1. Remember that they are blocks of 3, 2. And 3. And then I return here to this space here. And we are going to make lifting the poof 1 yarn over. Das yarn over. 3 I close and make 1. Now I'm going to move on to the next stitch. And I repeat 1 again. Next space 2. Next space 3. And I repeat the same process again. I get up and do 1, 2. 3. I close and ensure. And this until I complete my entire round. Once my round is over, look how beautiful it looks. I show you. And in this part of here, my friends, let's close here where we have our second chain stitch with a slip stitch. So now I'm going to spin. In this case we are going to make him a chain stitch first. And I will turn. And on the upside down side, I'm going to start knitting. I'm going to stop by and here we are going to find the stitches. Look, here we have a stitch. And half double crochet. I move on to the next one. Half double crochet next. Half double crochet, we already have the first one, which is formed with chain stitches and 3 more. Now I'm going to move here to this space, my friends. Look, here we can knit it on the stitch. But I find it more pleasant to weave it in this part, to keep it straight, okay? So here we are going to pull a little bit. Let's take our yarn over. And we're going to start stopping by. And to raise the stitch, yes, 1, 2. Yarn over. 3. I close. And I'm sure I'm going to stop by and here I have this stitch. I will ignore this stitch for the time being, because it would be like the equivalent of lifting the poof. Then I'm going to move on to the next one. And I do half double crochet. Half double crochet. Why half double crochet? And here in this space, same. We can place it in this little space that is formed here. Look at your friends, what do you think? Yes, in this little space where the puff is formed, that could be an excellent option. We passed it here. For that little hole. And we are just lifting, that the risk is taken. That if you don't hold it tight, the poof on the other side could be damaged. Then we'd better leave it here. What do you think? Yes, as we had been doing on the other side, a yarn over. 2 wires over 3, I close. I assure. And I pass this stitch without knitting, and in the stitch that follows, half double crochet. Half double crochet. Why half double crochet? And I come back here in this space, look. Here where you can see this poof. And that's when I start to lift. Uno yarn over 2, 3. I close and secure. And on the other side this is how it will look, okay? Well, I will complete my whole round. Once my round is over, I'm going to do the closure here with a slip stitch. And I'm going to do the color change, okay? Then this one has to fit inside me. Because remember, that we are weaving upside down. So here I pass and close with a slip stitch. In this case I make 2 chain stitches. I'm going to turn. I'm going to arrange the wool. And I'm going to stop by. Well, I'm going to take this one. This is the beginning in this case. And I'm going to move here to this space and I'm going to knit. Chain stitch and close, or chain stitch as you may call it. There at home, I am going to leave this pending. I'm not going to cut it, I'm going to leave it there pending, friends. Yes, we are going to leave it there pending. Now I am going to move on to the next stitch. I close 1 and 2, yes, or we make 2 chain stitch 1 and 2. I'm going to move on to this space we have here, my friends, and I will repeat 1 and 2 next stitch. 1 and 2, and I will continue like this. And so on until I complete my round and get here. Look friends, here we will always find these. These we have to weave. Yes, then here I pass and you. My stitch passed me to the next one. I knit the stitch, in which it follows. I knit the stitch. And so then they would be 3 stitches here of the reason, and this would be 4, yes. Then I come here to this space and knit the stitch. And I continue 1, 2. Look how easy and how fast, my 3 friends. And 4, and as they are weaving with a crochet. A large numbering. Well, it will be very easy and very fast. So that at home can be. I will complete now, yes, my whole round, and look how it's turning out. Once I finish the round, I am going to make the union here. In the second stitch chain. So with a slip stitch. Yes, then that's how it will look. We can make, what do you think, the slip stitch with the color change? A stitch chain. Same space. Unsingle stitch. Next space. 1. I am going to leave him 2 single stitches in the same space. I am going to move on to the space that follows, and I'm going to start knitting. 1 will be 5, 2. Will be double crochet on 3, 4, and 5. I close all stitches. I assure you, and I am going to move here to this space. In the first single stitch. And in this one that follows. 2. Single stitch, and in this one follows a single stitch. And in the following one, that is this. I make the poof one. 2 double crochets on 3, 4. I close the stitches, I assure them. And I am going to move here to this next space. And I will knit single stitch. And in this one we make 1. And 2 to make an increase, I pass to the stitch that follows. And single stitch. And this must be done until the entire round is completed. Already here, to finish friends, we are going to make a single stitch. I put it in this part. First the single stitch and then the increase is right. But then it would be 1. Well, this one I just put 1, 2, 3, and 4, which would be here 1, 2, 3, and 4 true. Would be the same amount, only here did I do it in a different setting. I close with a slip stitch. I make a stitch chain, and in this space we are going to make the second chain stitch. I'm going to stop by here. And I'm going to weave the same process I here. In the part that was chain stitch. And close at the next stitch. Chain stitch and close. I'm going to stop by where I did the poof. Chain stitch and close. And so look at your friends. I will be weaving chain stitch and close for each space. Chain stitch cierro. Next chain stitch closure. Until I complete my entire round. Then, no, we should not pass these poof stitches on to us. Yes, then it would be the poof. Plus 4 stitches, 1 that would be the first one. 2, 3. And 4, and again, then the part of the poof. I will complete my entire round. Here to finish my round, I am going to make the union. On the second chain stitch with a slip stitch. Now I am going to knit him. 2 chain stitches. That will be my first stitch. I am going to move on to the next space, and we will do the same process. Lifting to close. We are going to do a round without increases nor decreases. I only lift and close. Yes, as we have been doing in previous rounds. Lifting, closure. Again I lift, I close. I lift and close until the end. My whole round. Once this second round is over, after the puff round, I will close. And we are going to do another 4 to 5 rounds approximately. Our friends still make our 2 chain stitches. I move on to the next stitch. And we are going to knit the same chain stitches. DOS chain stitch, 2 in which it remains the same. We will be doing without increases or decreases. Yes, now it is no longer convenient for us to make the increases so that it does not expand so much. If in the course of the rounds, I consider that increases are needed. Well, I'll tell you in which rounds. So that at home, this project is very nice. And also, my friends, look at, what do you think? It is being very easy in this case. This project. I hope they are enjoying it at home. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart that you in this. Please be with me to watch this video. And well, I'll wait there at home. Be encouraged to weave this beautiful project, my friends. Because for real. Look, it's worth it. How it is becoming. Go then look, I have in this case. This is the puff round. I have 1, 2, 3, I will complete 8 rounds and return. I want to show you in total. Already the rounds I have ahead of me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and I will repeat this round. Yes, this one I found here. I am only not going to give it increases. I'm just going to knit like this. A chain stitch right there, a single stitch. I move on to the next one. Single stitch. Here I am going to leave only 2 at the beginning, and here in the end I make 1. And in this part of here, I start knitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unstitches, I close. I assure. I go to the next space and teju single stitch 1, 2. And 3, and I repeat again 1, 2. 3, 4. And 5 double crochets on. And closure, assure. 3 single stitches in the following stitches. And I repeat until I complete my entire round. Here at the end we weave our last single stitch. Now I'm going to make it a little more tense. To make it look nice. And I make the union. Con slip stitch. DOS chain stitches. And I will pass, and I will continue in this case by weaving. Chain stitches, yes. At this moment, friends. If someone requires more stitches, can do it. For example, if you consider it, you have already measured it. Has already been measured and considers that it needs a few more stitches. This is the moment where you can add them, yes. In my case, I am not going to add any more stitch. I consider that these sones are sufficient. So they are not necessary, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to work rounds until I reach where I have under my arm. Or in the middle of my bust approximately, yes. And depending on, if you also want it a little looser, you leave it under your bust. And I'll be back to make the The separation of the sleeves is about to continue with the rest of our project. And so it is, as it is becoming very easy but very nice. I want to show you I have already finished. I have left 3 more rounds after this round. Yes, after the poof. And that's as far as I'm going to leave it. Now let's leave in this case. We are going to leave 18 stitches. First I will separate the friendly stitches. And then I will close. Yes, because I am going to make the color change. I will leave 18 stitches. For the beginning part of the back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18 up to here will be the part. The first part for the back. Now I will leave in this case 24 for the sleeve. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24 so far will be the part for the sleeve. Now for the front I will leave, in this case 37 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, and 37 stitches. For the front, 24 stitches for sleeve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. And let's see if it gives us 19 for the back, which is what you have to give us approximately. Okay. Then let's see. For the back part 1 have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. We already have the divisions for the back, the sleeve part and the front part. Here I remove this material. And I will take with the initial color. Now I am going to do the following. I will pass, and to make the closure, I am going to make the color change. To start with the opposite color. And here in this part, we pass, we make a chain stitch with the wool that we close to make our fabric more fixed, and that's it. Now, we will continue to weave. In this case we are going to make a chain stitch too. And I'm going to stop by, and I'm going to take this one. These little pieces of wool are woolly. And I continue to weave. In this case we are going to weave up to where we have the marker, which at the beginning is 18 stitches. Same with the same technique. And losing these little pieces of wool. I want to show you I have already finished those 18 stitches. Now I am going to knit him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white 6 chain stitches. Is what I am going to leave behind. You can leave him more loose if you want him looser. You can leave more chain stitch here. You can leave him. For example, I have left 6. You can leave 8, 10, 12 depending on how wide you want your sweater to be. Now I'm going to pass those 24 stitches from where I got my marker. Where I have the other one there are 24 stitches. Well, I'm going to pass them on without knitting. And I continue to weave. Now the front part, which is 37 stitches that I had also already separated. And here's the part already for the sleeve. If this is under the arm, in this part we could call the sisa. It is under our arm. Sometimes it is a very frequent question I am asked. And now I continue to weave in this case. To complete the front part. Okay, those 37 chain stitches with the same T. I want to show you the finished. Then the front part. Look at this is the space we have just. Which is for the part of our arm. Now let's move on. But first let's weave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chain stitches. And I'm going to pass all these stitches without knitting. What are those 24 stitches again? That we go through without weaving. And on the other side I continue to weave. As appropriate. It's already 19 stitches to end my round. And here, we already have the space for our next manga. Yes, now I am going to turn it. So that they can appreciate it better at home. I am about to finish this stitch. And here I have the sleeve again. And my other sleeve does. I will complete my entire round. Once my round is over, I am going to make the union. In the second stitch chain. Con unslip stitch. 2 chain stitches and now we are going to weave. Already in this case in circulation. Yes, then same technique. We will continue to weave with the same technique. Look. Here I uploaded those 2 chain stitch. I pass by and continue to weave. Once we got to this stitch, our friends took half of the chain stitch. And we continue to weave. As appropriate. Yes, so look at only half of it. Here is the last stitch chain. And I continue to weave. Then, from now on, my friends, it would be weaving round after round. Until we get the length that we there at home we need and under the arm. Because that's how it's going to stay. I want to show you friends up to this point. What I have at a disadvantage, yes. Look here in this part. Is the part where I receive the part of the increases. On both sides. And so it is staying with us. So now and friends, we are just going to weave the length we need. We will repeat the same process. Round after round and in a little moment more. I return to continue with the process and if up to this point friends, you are liking this video, do not leave the channel without leaving me as support. A little hand up, I want to show you friends, and what I have had a total advantage of. There at home, everyone will leave the length they need. In my case I left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19 rounds in total. But why is this? Because the sweater is going to be short this time. But remember that there at home, if you want to make it longer. Because you only advantage the length you need. Yes, now once finished. In this case we are going to do the following. I'm going to stop by to the next space and I'm going to knit him a slip stitch. Let's go knitting my slip stitches. Look at taking only half of the chain stitch. And I am going to place him here. On this first stitch a marker to know that this is our first slip stitch and so on. It must be softly because if we knit it too tight, your garment will be closing very much. In this case, if you knit too tight, my friends, I recommend using a larger crochet. If you want to have the same effect. If not good, you can make the traditional crochet elastic. That it's double crochet. Make a double crochet for each space, and then one in relief and one below. One in relief or 2 and 1. As you prefer at home, yes? Then I will complete my entire round, taking only half of the chain stitch. And I slide half of the chain stitch. I slide and slide. Once my round is over, I am going to remove the marker here. And I'm going to do here taking only half of the chain stitch. Same friends, a slip stitch and I place the marker again. To know that this is the beginning, let's take half the chain stitch. And I continue knitting slip stitch. And so friends, we will be weaving round after round, taking only half of the chain stitch. The rounds at home need okay. And in a little moment more I will be back. And I show you how many rounds there were that I left in total. I want to show you friends, the preview that I already have in this part. If you notice it has reduced a little bit. Yes, there at home it is necessary to take into account if this is what you need. Or another option may be to, in this case, the simple elastic, which is a relief stitch and one at the bottom, one relief and one below. In my case I will leave it at that. This is what in my case I need. And here in this part, I am about to finish. And I will give rise to continue with the part of the sleeve, but yes, is important at home, friends, that you can check this and measure it for yourselves, so that can see if they need it. Loosen a little bit in the part. For example, in this part, you can use a larger crochet. For example, so that not so reduced. In my case it is not necessary. Here I end. To see retirement and on the inside, I will wear this last stitch. So look at the inside. I can now lose this little piece of material. And this is how it will stay. Yes, now let's go up the sleeve. How we are going to do it here. In this part it will be very easy, my friends. Let's go knitting a stitch for each space. I am not going to make any decreases on this occasion. If someone likes to make the decreases, I can make them. In the final part one will leave the sleeve a little wide and then reduced. But this will be to the last. Goes then here in this part. I more or less crochet in the middle. I make a chain stitch with double wool and a second chain stitch. And as I tell you, as I will not diminish, I will only be weaving one double crochet for each space. Happened to me here, where I have the double crochet and there I knit a double crochet. I move on to the next stitch, which is this one. Let's see, let's leave it instead of double crochet. We are going to continue weaving this part down here. What do you think? Then I pass. And I make 1-2 stitches. In which 1-2 follows. To see. I don't think it was looking good, was it, my friends? Look. Here is where I have the double crochet. And there again I shuffle. 1 and 2 and so on. I continue weaving. As everything around. Since it is very easy in this part, my friends, here I am. Past this stitch, and it is very important that everything remains the same. 1 and 2, yes, then. I will continue to weave everything around my sleeve with this same technique. And in a little moment more I will be back. I've already finished this far, friends. Look at my whole round and in this part. Because we already know how we are going to weave in a circular way. In the second chain stitch I make a slip stitch. Subo dos chain stitches. And I move on to the stitch that follows. And I continue to weave accordingly. Stitch for each space, yes, stitch. Why stitch? And as I told you that I am not going to make any decreases. I'm going to advance the length of my sleeve. And in a little while more, I'll be back to show you how it's turning out. And until now, for this is how it is becoming. I want to show you the length of my sleeve I have now. In total we are going to see how many rounds I left behind. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21. 22 rounds in total. And here I was already curious in this part, but I'm going to return a little bit. Friends, look at. I will do the following. I make my closure. And after closing I'm going to stop by, and I'm going to knit him a slip stitch. To be soft, friends. And then I'm going to move on to the one next. There are 2, 3 4, 5 6, 7 8 9. This stitch I pass without knitting, and I go to the next stitch. And I continue to weave 1 2, 3 4 5 6. And I'm only going to take half the chain stitch. And weaving slip stitch 7 8 9. 10. Steps without knitting. And in which it follows. Step in which it follows I repeat. Slip stitch. And I will do this until I complete my entire round. 1 2 3. 4 and so as not to be giving him the whole round. Now I'm going to take this stitch well. 4 5 6 slip stitch 7. 8 9. And 10 and I'm going to stop by look at my friends. I'm going to take out a little bit of material because I'm struggling with him. And here at this stitch, I pass it without knitting. I'm going to the next stitch and slip stitch nothing more. This round we are going to weave with decrease I pass to the next stitch. And in this case I place my marker and continue weaving. Slip stitch. Next slip stitch. Next slip stitch. And so I will continue to weave until the end of my entire round. In this round we will no longer make any decreases, nor full increases all my round. Once my round is over I will withdraw. And I will do the same process. I will only be weaving. Unstitch. By each stitch of the previous round. I will no longer make increases or decreases, and I'm going to knit until we have 6 stripes left. Yes, 6 rounds are the ones we are going to leave him. Then look. Here I have 1 2 3 and this would be round number 4. I will complete 6 rounds and back to show you how it turned out. Already finished. I have 1 2 3 4 5 6 and now the next thing I'm going to do is to stop by at the next stitch towards the bottom. We pass the stitch. And this stitch. We are going to spend this one halfway through. And we can now remove the material. And here we can already lose this little piece of material we have left. Yes, and I have already completed. I already have on the other side. I just have to lose this little piece of wool to him, but I want to show you why I already have the other sleeve. And remember friends, that the sleeve may vary a little bit, depending on the height of each person. Look at this is how my project has turned out. I already have both sleeves. I'm just going to lose this little piece of wool anymore. I am already working on my next project, my friends. That's why you can see me here with the material next to me. And well, this is how the final result has turned out. Would you like to know what he looks like on? Well, I show you what it looks like already on, and if up to this point you are liking this video. Friends, leave me a support, a little hand up, share. Also support me by sharing on your social networks, with your relatives, with your friends in your Facebook groups. And see you in the following video. I will pass on to you some of the following of the garments that I already have available on the channel, for you to go visit me and you can start knitting them a lot. But thank you very much for having accompanied me today.